When I tell students that the first program I wrote was in 1972, which is, well, well before most of them were born, in fact, before some of their parents were born, they kind of look at me. And I think they sometimes wonder if I'm still as interested in computer science as I was then. And the answer, of course, is even more so. Now, 35 years ago, almost 40 years ago, when I first started programming, it was a big deal to get access to a computer. I mean, you had extra security, you had special rooms with special air conditioning. You really had to be someone to get involved in computers. So, when I took my first computer course, it was a big deal. I had punch cards. Most students today haven't even seen punch cards. But I would take my program, I would write it on punch cards, I would give it to somebody, and then sometime later, maybe an hour or two or the next day, I'd get the results. But still, it was kind of exciting because I was making this big computer do something sort of real. Now, when I got my first job out of college, only the really large companies had computerized systems. So I was creating applications, business applications for companies that were getting their very first computer. The people that were working with them, many of them had never worked with computers. So we were really introducing something new, which was exciting. It was a good time. Computers gradually got smaller, they got less expensive, more people had access to them. A couple of guys in Cambridge invented a program called the spreadsheet. And all of a sudden, personal computers, which previously had been the realm of hobbyists, started moving into real businesses. If you wanted to start a computer company in those days, it wasn't that easy. If you had access to a computer, probably a PC, you could create some applications. It was hard to sell them. There weren't good distribution channels, so you get a few bucks and get in your local area, but that was about it, unless you had an awful lot of money. Still, the PC made it possible for a lot of us to create applications for fun, and that was pretty exciting. It was a big change. We're still dealing with keyboards at that time, which again was pretty cool. And then some guys out in California at Xerox PARC invented the mouse, later adopted by interesting new companies like Apple and Microsoft, and finally some of the established companies like Digital Equipment and IBM. And that was pretty exciting as well, because we had a whole new way of interacting with the computer. And that continued. Now, where are we at today? Computers are ubiquitous. Everybody's got one. You'd think for somebody who'd been around for a while it'd become old hat, but quite the contrary is true. Now, instead of having cards and mag tapes like we did in the early days, or even keyboards and mice, we've got still more ways to interact with computers. I mean, I'm recording this on a laptop, sitting on my lap. Impossible 30 years ago. We've also got development tools. For students, some of the best tools are free. Microsoft has got a program called DreamSpark, for example, that gives them professional quality tools at no price at all. It's fabulous. If you want to create a company, well, now we've got cloud computing. That means that rather than having to buy thousands or tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of dollars of computers, you can pay for the computing power and the storage that you need via the cloud. So between free tools, computing power that scales as you need it, sort of it pays for itself, that whole piece is getting easier. But there's even more to it than that. We've got these really cool smartphones. I mean, I love my Windows Phone 7. Couldn't go along without it. But it's really easy to develop programs from it. And there's a Windows Phone marketplace that makes it possible for you to sell it. And not just for money, you can give it out for free and make money off of advertising. Totally unheard of some years ago. So the marketplace is more exciting now than it ever was. But there's more to that. There's the whole how do we deal with computers that's changed. Now we've got Xbox controllers with all kinds of buttons and joysticks, and it just totally changed the way we can do things. And we've got the Connect device, where your whole body can basically communicate with the computer. And again, the development tools are free or inexpensive. It's just mind boggling. I really don't know where it's going to go. So, between the handheld devices, easy entry in the market, in fact, Microsoft just announced that Windows 8 will have its own marketplace. You'll be able to sell PC applications practically frictionlessly to a global market of 231 countries. Totally unheard of and unthought of back in the day when you figured if you could write your application and get it in a few local shareware places, you were doing great stuff. And of course, the computer continues to change the world. It changes it in medicine, it's changing it in engineering, it's changing it in business, it's changing it in communication. Communicating, changing in every possible way. So today, 38 years later, after I wrote my first program, and was really charged because, people thought I was pretty cool. I could program a computer. Today, I'm even more excited. The potential is even greater. The changes are speeding up, not slowing down. The potential for changing the world is just unbelievable. In my own job, I'm seeing it with teachers using Connect in the classroom, in writing applications to involve students in more interactive ways. I'm also seeing the Imagine Cup competition that Microsoft runs, where students are really working on problems to change the world in positive ways. So far from getting old and jaded after all these years, I'm even more excited about computer science than I was ever before. This is Computer Science Education Week. I hope you, if you're a computer professional, will get involved in local schools in promoting computer science education. If you're a student, I hope you'll really look into and seriously consider studying computer science, because no matter where else your interests lie, there's going to be overlap with computers in the future. And knowing how to program a computer, knowing the in-depths of a computer are going to help you. So, as I tell everybody, I'm more excited now than ever before, and I hope you too can get excited about computer science. Thank you. Have a great day.